I can write numbers 0 to 20. Start at the top, make a circle, that's the way to make a 0. Practice writing the number 0 by tracing the gray line. Count the number of walruses you can see. Start at the top, straight and tall, that's the way to make a 1. Practice writing the number 1 by tracing the gray line. Count the number of alligators you can see. Start at the top, curve around just right, that's the way to make a 2. Practice writing the number 2 by tracing the gray line. Count the number of elephants you can see. Start at the top, curve around and then, that's the way to make a 3. Practice writing the number 3 by tracing the gray line. Count the number of cats you can see. Down and over, down once more, that's the way to make a 4. Practice writing the number 4 by tracing the gray line. Count the number of mice you can see. Down and around, then give it a hat, that's the way to make a 5. Practice writing the number 5 by tracing the gray line. Count the number of goats you can see. Start at the top, curve around and then, loop back to make a 6. Practice writing the number 6 by tracing the gray line. Count the number of hippos you can see. Across the sky and down from heaven, that's the way to make a 7. Practice writing the number 7 by tracing the gray line. Count the number of turtles you can see. Make an S, and don't be late. That's the way to make an 8. Practice writing the number 8 by tracing the gray line. Count the number of jaguars you can see. Circle around and then a line, that's the way to make a 9. Practice writing the number 9 by tracing the gray line. Count the number of narwhals you can see. Practice writing the number 10 by tracing the gray line. Count the number of zebras you can see. Practice writing the number 11 by tracing the gray line. Count the number of lions you can see. Practice writing the number 12 by tracing the gray line. Count the number of ants you can see. Practice writing the number 13 by tracing the gray line. Count the number of penguins you can see. Practice writing the number 14 by tracing the gray line. Count the number of dogs you can see. Practice writing the number 15 by tracing the gray line. Count the number of koalas you can see. Practice writing the number 16 by tracing the gray line. Count the number of unicorns you can see. Practice writing the number 17 by tracing the gray line. Count the number of sloths you can see. Practice writing the number 18 by tracing the gray line. Count the number of yaks you can see. Practice writing the number 19 by tracing the gray line. Count the number of horses you can see. Practice writing the number 20 by tracing the gray line. Congratulations! You are a number writing hero.